And now this Nico, I don't think we really thought it was going to be a flex, but it definitely won't be. And Faker will be the final lock-in here. Could go for damage because you have a lot of peel with this Wukong, or instead, in this case, you could just go for the ultimate ability to brawl hard with this triple melee composition that has the Nico engage, and you basically can go on to anyone. The Ahri is not going to be safe. The Jace is certainly not going to be safe. And this immobile AD carry in the Misfortune has a pretty weak front line, frankly. There's a lot of ways to access and get on top of Viper here for T1. I like T1's draft here in this first game.
It does, but once they get ahead, I mean, single target pick, you make that map dark, it becomes a scary, scary place. Let's jump into the Rift for game one.
Feels he should be able to maintain a decent level of prio. Both junglers currently in the top half of the map, pathing towards bot. Zeus is the level 2 gap, but Doran does find the sidestep still, though. Trade a bit rough to set up any play, even on traditionally slippery targets like the Gwen.
Oh dear. As to the skies, Flash has to be used this time around as Doran was out of dashes. The two of those between these junglers is, oh my goodness, Chomp connects and Faker, he has to flash. Otherwise that true damage would have killed him.
On vision though, as Doran.
Oh dear, Doran goes into the circle. Shock Blast goes wide though, as now Doran looking to try and put on the pressure. Let's see, the snips are coming in and there's a pause.
Oh no,
Zeus, he couldn't face it. He couldn't face being solo killed by Doran, or something has gone catastrophically.
Well, Zeus still has flash, right? So
yes. I feel like 9 out of 10 people say no.
Oh, there's the flash.
there it is, yeah.
Now, I say that Owner is looking for a potential steal here.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they thought he backed because he was on the ward.
Well, he can see Peanut, but he couldn't see the health bar. As we
I
can
think
see there,
yeah,
as Peanut, yeah,
have a
gets
suspicion.
wind of it. And Ona comes in. Let's see who's going to be able to take this, and it's Ona just stealing it away.
Even with the shock blast from Zeus.
Yeah.
Niter support is even close, as there we go!
Yeah, we are flashing in and flashing out. Here's Ona. So that's a flash for flash trade. I think Delight going to be okay with it.
Warriors Tricks are going to help close the gap, and they will be looking for that as they have a great angle here with Carry.
A lot of value out of that one. Gold incredibly even, as we can see, is now Zeka moving forward. Peanut's here though. He's even got cease and desist. It's going to be used by Faker as he hijacks it away. And there it is, returned in kind. And Zeka will finally claim the first blood.
I think the Cyclone has to be game-changing if this is going to be a fight they can win down these critical items.
That was so many Wukongs that Peanut just had to watch. The army of monkeys heading towards the Vi as, all right, cease and desist comes out. Peanut just starting this fight as he flashes away. Pop Blossom to stop any sort of follow-up, as now Peanut is just alone in the enemy jungle. Bullet time comes through. It does get a bit of damage down, but it's not going to kill anyone. And now Faker, with that Spirit Rush available, looking to try and close in on the rest of HLE. What was that, Peanut?
Item spikes be damned.
And Peanut once again back to that dangerous location. It did give him some trouble before, as Oldia Gumayushi could be in trouble, as once again cease and desist comes down. He does have flash, so he's going to use it. Bullet time coming on in as the Cyclone there from Ona defending his AD carry. The flash not quite working, but now Doran throwing some needlework towards Peanut, who wants to get himself away and does Vault Breaker out. Charm will connect, as now Doran could be in a bit of trouble fighting off his ex-teammate, but no one going to die outside of Viper, who fell unfortunately in the aftermath. As, okay, Delight looking for another Shattering Strike. Gumayushi on a ward. They didn't know that he was walking over there as the Make It Rain coming on down once again. Korea taking a bit of damage as the Rift Herald is on the minds of HLE. Gumayushi level 11 now as Shock Blast does so much damage. And look at this, they're just in the blender. This time, Delight making something happen as Doran gets into the backside. Owner has found Peanut once again. And now the bullet time's gonna need to save them. Gwen is immune, ladies and gentlemen. That's allowing Doran to survive. But the Rift Herald's still up, and T1 are gonna take even more this game.
And there could be an opportunity, but we need to see a more synced up Hanwha live if they want to win this, as there comes Doran in again.
Yeah,
Doran
teleports coming through from everyone. Zeka going to make his way over. Let's see whether this soul point can be denied. Hex Gates coming on in as Zeka finding so much damage. There's the steal. It's Zeus that takes it down, and the Pop Blossom doesn't do nearly enough.
They're in the
T1,
pit.
they do lose 2. They have 3 left, still alive. Shattering Strike not doing too much as Doran and Guma able to take down the Rel. And now it's even footing. Faker trying to find it. The dash cannon getting him into this fight is now Viper in trouble. It's land! And they try and keep him alive, but it does not work. Zeus trying to push them away. And him and Zek, I don't think it's going to be enough. T1 win the fight, but they don't take the Drake.
The needles that came through was...
Oh god, the chain's gonna have to be flashed here by Zeus. as Faker doing so much work, and Owner is there with the follow-up.
You need to be careful with that Vi in particular. The CC chain is still there from Hamba, but we're slowly getting to the point, as mentioned.
Ability to strut your stuff.
The cleanse isn't going to be enough, and the flash isn't going to be enough. You need your team to be there. You need your team, you need the setup, and you need to be the team that's getting the first kill.
Well, they're going to look for it here as Delight going to be able to use that blast cone, but he's down incredibly low and will get taken down. Possible overextension, though, as the Orbit Deception does a lot of work, as Faker dashing around the battlefield with his hijacked Spirit Rush. Now, Pop Blossom is going to find only one, but it's Zeus. That is a great target, as now Zeka looking for the jump. The bullet time doing massive damage, but Doran now looking to get on top of Viper, who is completely alone and will get eviscerated. The wallet's so heavy here for T1, and they just take HLE out of the fight.
Zeus tries to react, but the biggest part of this is Delight dies, right? If you have that Magnet Storm, so many of these things go better for you. Maybe not the bullet time, because I think Viper couldn't have gotten any more value than he did in that one. But with melees that can just rip you to shreds.
Yeah. Speaking of being ripped to shreds, Peanut gonna try and get over the wall, but the flash is there for Owner, and he just knocks down the Vi. There is nowhere that Peanut is safe in this game. So let's see whether HLE can try and kill T1 before they take this Baron. It looks like it's going to be impossible. Under 4,000 health as Delight goes in, finds the Magnastorm. Let's see whether they can get the kills with the Pop Blossom. Doesn't do too much. They take down the Gwen, but this is still Baron picked up for T1. They go for the fight, and they're looking to try and turn it. Kamiushi takes down Zeka. They've dealt with this Rel at the same time, and T1 say, we'll just take everything.
Such a massive lead. We didn't expect Hanwha was going to be able to win that fight as Keria potentially punished here. We're getting trolled by the observers. Owner going to check it out.
Oh dear. No, I think it might be Peanut getting punished here just a little bit. Slowed down by the Rend. Nimbus Strike going to be coming up pretty soon here. And Faker comes on over. He's just going to escort Owner in and escort HLE out of this first game.
And right afterwards, he tries to punish, and he dies, and now he's not alive here for what is going to finally be Hextech Soul here for T1.
T1 in this stadium, man, just feels like they are unlocked an extra level. And Faker now picking up a Magnastorm for himself. That is going to be 2 inhibitors. This is, of course, feeling like a little bit of ceremony, because this game is all but over. That is going to be a bit of an engage on Doran, but he does go into the mist and now looks to fight 4 people. Going golden here. Those big old scissors doing some work. There is the Magnastorm finally. The bullet time coming in, but the wallets are so big. The Pop Blossom massive as well, and T1 just slaughter them in their own house, and they'll destroy it at the same time. T1 1-0 in the series.
You got the Giga pick, and Peanut does 5.3k damage and a 0 and 7, I believe, at the end of the game. And if you're the coaching staff after this one, if you're the players after this one, you're really going to have to get your head, your mindset in the right place after a loss like this. The loss streak for Hanwha continues.
And this is purely because the Poppy was on the other side, looking like it was possibly heading into the support position, and Best are going to be locked in. And now the question mark is still between the Poppy and the Pantheon, but Owner's Pantheon has been so incredibly good.
I think when you're playing a comp like this with the Rise, you want to have the Pantheon in the jungle because he's going to be more omnipresent. He's going to be able to follow up on the side lanes a little bit better. We'll be able to get into the backline. We'll just have more farm to access the Jhin and the Victor, just more powerful as a champion there. The Poppy, much more utility-based, is going to still be able to make that impact with their ultimate in the jungle. Can be decent into the Nautilus, obviously, is great for anti-dive. So a Poppy quite strong when you have a strong pushing lane like the Varus. And I like this setup with Keria on Poppy more than it had it been Owner's Poppy.
They've got carries coming from just about everywhere and ways to really mess up these fights. Let's get into game number 2 and see whether T1 can get to an early match point. Doran should be able to have a decent chance of getting through the tanks. Oh my goodness, it's a lot of damage onto Keria. Viper with that 4th bullet available. Takes Rubs. Going to be the trade for a decent amount here towards the bottom side. Zeus is just trying to play that weak side Sion. And here is the Realm Warp in as Faker off to the side, doesn't get hit by that Q, and in comes Owner to finish him off. First blood going over to the Pantheon as a teleport does come through. Actually, Zeka just walking down towards this bottom side as Faker just executes himself, denies the money to HLE.
get on top of Faker as, uh-oh.
There's Depth Charge, and there's Chain CC. I think he's dead. Yeah.
They got him this time.
Yeah,
Yes,
they did.
Poppy and double global. They're not set up for this one, and Peanut's just gone.
Case in
and, like,
point.
We just knew like exactly what was going to happen here. And Hanwha we're only really half contesting anyways.
It's a bit early.
Hanging around.
Yeah, this Dragon is going to be secured. Deadly Flourish not going to be enough to stop that one.
Build here with a Rod of Ages. Not
Right,
going full damage.
going to connect here is, okay, they're going to go for the Chain CC. Carrion tries to move himself out of the way, but Peanut locks down that kill. Might be a big in here for HLE to try and get this snowball rolling.
Yeah, they might just look to try to somehow get this full turret as they look for owner.
Yeah, another hook does come through. There's the audacious charge as Faker is off to the side to make this an actual 2 versus 2. But Zeka comes over to make it 3. Gumushi a little bit later. The Arcane Storm, not quite enough as the Chains of Corruption comes in, and Peanut taxis his way out with the Grump. Knocks it up there as well, but Rob is coming in. Peanut does have to flash. There's another hook he's going to come through as Viper has to cleanse as Kerry is back once again. Okay, Keeper's Verdict does get him out of there. Now Faker is the one left alone. Zeus turns up. Enough of that funny business, says HLE. It's Viper that gets the kill.
Initially, looks like maybe he has, as we're not done yet.
All right, there's a Grand Starfall underneath the turret here onto a gravity field. As Ona, he can't tank the turret anymore, and Peanut in a good position this time. Huh?
Yeah,
What?
not really sure.
That was my analysis at the end. I put the analysis
I'm
at the
on
end.
this. I'm right there with you.
Because this isn't really the kind of Jin snowball we were talking about. This isn't really quite the same sort of like, I wonder how they'll use that. Like, you know, a few minutes ago you were starting to feel like, okay, this is going to be a tough one to play out, but now you're feeling so much more comfortable.
This could be a little bit dangerous though, as Doran looking for an opportunity, but the Xin Zhao is here. The knock-up comes through. Wind becomes lightning. There's the knock-up from Zeus at the same time, as Doran might be able to flash his way out of here, but Zeus is right over the top, looking to try and chase him down. But remember, it's an Ambessa, so he has better
call there that nearly backfired. He loses his flash. And, I mean, I guess they could call that a backfire. Now we're looking for a
the
flame for
TP.
Carrier.
Okay, Drake is currently being taken here by Faker. Zeka moving on in. Peanut with that Wind becomes lightning. Carrier looking for that flank angle, wants to hit the Keeper's Verdict to make this a man advantage for T1 as he finds it. It is just about perfect as now they just single out Zeka. That is going to be kill on the other side though, as both mid laners are now lying in the dust. The curtains have been called and T1 has split the flash forward from Delight as now Zeus turns up to be that monster in the front line. But Carrier is still being a menace. Zeus is looking to lock him down as Gumushi over the wall is getting the pot shots in. Viper now singled out by Doran, who still has a lot of damage, and Zeus will be cut down where he stands. HLE once again losing a team fight.
And it's just way better coordination here from T1 in these moments. The Flash Keeper's Verdict from Carrier. At the end of the day, T1 pulling ahead in this one objective-wise, still down in gold, but it feels less significant as Doran.
Public execution goes in as Viper is just going to get executed. They blow him up. And now the Chains of Corruption to hold Zeus in position. The rest of HLE trying to get here, but 2 are already on the floor, and T1 are just happy that they've showed up for the slaughter. The knockup comes in though, and Doran is going to be taken down, but Delight will also be returned as another one. And there is the Keeper's Verdict. Carrier not going to opt into it, but they've still won the fight.
2 item spikes done for Zeka. And this is the point where I think Hanwha Live, they're going to get this 5v5 win. Carrier again. Can they find him?
It's Carrier's angle as he just knocks Peanut away. The heroic charge comes in now. The Pantheon comes through as well, but it's not quite as coordinated as we saw last time. Viper fighting against Doran though. Deadly Flourish comes in. They take down Ona, and now Doran finds himself inside the blender, and he will be taken out. Now the curtains have been called. Carrier slowed down. He is out of range of these shots, and now Zeka is 1v1ing against a Poppy and kind of losing. That was scary. And Carrier is able to walk his way out. Still this time, HLE find a fight.
They deny the soul. They also deny, as Delight is on the ward, do take note.
All right.
There's no rest here.
Death Charge going to come through here, but Faker just decides he wants to kill Zeus, and he might be able to do so. Gumushi in a fair bit of trouble as Zeka distracted by the Poppy once again. Viper now looking for an angle. Deadly Flourish, will it be in range? And he doesn't quite find it, but he doesn't need to. It's a double for Zeka, and HLE running away with it now.
At T1, they try to run the play back, but this time Hanwha says, come on, you can't do that to us 2 times in a row.
They are, again, denying vision of T1, forcing T1 to be in this area.
Yeah, Carrier.
TP.
Yeah, they're just looking for Zeka, and he is
It's a deep TP.
He is a long way away from everyone. As he flashes towards Owner, the rest of his team is coming up though, and his health bar is pretty high. He's still alive for now. The depth charge comes in, the public execution misses onto this Victor, who is just standing in amongst all of his bodyguards, and now Faker is singled out. It's Zeka's turn to close in. Faker's still looking for that damage, but now the fight is ensuing on the other side. Delight might give himself up, but the knockup is there from Zeus. He's trying to stand in the way, and Zeka might get executed here by Doran. He goes golden. The arrow! And Doran is still alive. They take him down as the arrow is going to be there from Gumayusi. As 3 for 3 is the trade. But it is only really the tanky members alive from HLE, and Gumayusi is still terrifying on his signature Varus. You really don't get to front to back when a Poppy is in the game, especially when it's carrier.
He's got the heal set for a bit of a gap close as well.
Well, Faker is actually just going to try and take down the start in the mid lane. He will be successful, and remember, T1, they don't necessarily need to go for this.
He wants
but they can, as here's the Keeper's verdict. They do get rid of the Psy on the front line. He's now gone. The Gravity Well is doing so much work here, as Zeka just walks away and lets that Arcane Storm do the work, but it's Gumayusi, it's Faker, and they have so much damage, and they'll get the soul off the back end. And T1, the war of attrition is just being won on their side of the rift. Here's the flanking teleport, though, as Gumayusi could be in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have his shield, and he doesn't have a whole lot of hope, but he does flash. And the train is not even going to get the stun. The wind becomes lightning, misses. Is the knockup going to be there? The rest of T1 are turning up. Goom is still trying to kite this one out. He finally dies. The knockup is huge there from Delight at the same time, as HLE are trying to fight off Doran on the other side of the fight, and things are going completely wrong for HLE on the top side. Delight trying to get out. The flash in front from Carrier is just gorgeous, and Doran can do no wrong here in Busan.
And why Homo Life is firing skill shots into the nothingness of the rift. Doran is 1v2ing.
Yeah, I want to have a chat with Aslan, man. That guy is getting hit by everything there in Narnia.
Oh man, Doran is just having the series, again, just like he did yesterday, that you couldn't have predicted coming into Road to MSI.
That was blind as well,
kinda. On the ultimate. I mean, it's a good predict. He knew the trajectory.
Death's Dance, baby.
It's a risky call, and he goes for it. A few things miss here, but ultimately I don't think it matters. You know, hitting that flourish would have changed things. Carrier, the bodyguard, and Doran cleans up house. Man, Poppy coming through.
All right, Zeus, his health bar is looking a little bit large, but let's see how long it lasts. As there's another public execution. Doran getting in amongst 5 people underneath the turret. They haven't gone down just yet, but there's the Grand Starfall. Here is T1, and it's a double already for that man in the top lane. Zeka gonna go golden, and just watch as T1 rolls over the top like this wave that is just attacking them in their base. Viper, yeah, I think probably sticking around on this fountain is going to be the right idea, as T1 will move to match point here and make it possibly a pretty short one here in Busan.
And that bot side play, the power of friendship, T1 have done that exact thing so many times.
And T1 is just 1 win away from a massive upset here.
God!
And Doran, man, he's playing against the guy who replaced him. And I think right now he's definitely sitting on top.
Yeah, domestic Doran is an absolute thing to behold. And we might have an opportunity to see a new and improved international version if they win just 1 more game here today.
Peanut Hecarim.
I mean, Camille is hard to play into Lee Sin.
This is not a game 5 for Fearless. There's a lot more available. Instead of going for the Camille, he looks towards some of his favorites, the Aatrox, and then ultimately the Gnar. The old counter pick to this Cassante. Not a lot of setup for the Nidalee in this draft, though. And in terms of lane pile, you're winning out on the top side with this one for sure. Mid lane, get a little bit back and forth. I think Faker should be able to have the edge if he could continue to apply that pressure. But this is the first pick. Nidalee feels like it kind of ended up in an odd spot at the end of this draft.
It represented the finish line for Gen G and may represent the finish line for T1 as well as we jump onto the Rift here for game number 3.
And it's great to see more depth here in our LCK. But if you're a Hanwha fan, you're hoping you can stop that momentum in defense of this lane. Would have been nice if there was a dive coming for him to be there, but Owner does not carry his clearing.
Well, there's the grand entrance as the door is going to get put up. Viper taking so much damage here as he's still trying to fight back. A dangerous decision, as we can see. as Delight just going to slow down Carrier, and they are just zoning them away from their turret here just in a 2v2.
It's getting straight up gapped in this 2v2, not even remotely close. And they get prio on the Dragon, whereas Delight just decides to peace out. Does it the TP, but I think with the slow TP, I don't know if they can contest. Peanuts on the other end of the map, so they're clearly deciding to let this go, and that's another Dragon going to T1. But them just gapping like this, I think, is unexpected.
That's the worst.
That is not what they were looking for here, as HLE still with an opportunity to fight for this one, as we've got top laners battling before this all starts. Gumushi and Ona in position on these grubs, as Carrier able to grand exit from this one. Zayas moving back towards his teammates, but he's going to have to crash his way out of this, and it looks like that is what's going to happen. And there is the objective, just going over to T1 for free. Yet another one, tick it off. Carrier about to hit that quickness as well. Just needs, there it is.
I mean, they're just going to zone him off another wave. Like, otherwise, I mean, good luck defending this dive.
Well, there is that quickness that goes in, gets the charm onto Delight, who's kicked away. But here's the heroic entrance. Gumushi with the Feather Storm, though, and he holds Zeka in place. The Winds of War come down, and the Sonic Wave is going to miss. That would have been a dead Zeka there, a dead Gargoyle underneath the turret, and it might still be. As Carrier not quite with the amount of damage, but the feathers get recalled, and here comes Faker. He finds the angle. There's another Pyro Blast. It could be a triple for the Annius. Tibbers looks to clean up, and it's in fact the Blind Monk that gets it in the end. 4 for nothing here for T1 in this early game, and Zayas is also taking damage from Doran.
I mean, this is just a bottom 2v2 setup where, again, Guma pushes it in, and they have so much agency. Zayas looking for something back here on the bottom lane.
He has to.
Yeah, let's see
has
whether
to
he can
try.
find it.
TP though.
Teleport is going to come in. Doran goes all out and doesn't get CC'd from the Gnar. Zayas looking to try and get himself out of here, as there is the wallop. It's Carrier that comes in, and there's the Q charged up. Doran wanting a little bit more. The flash does come through as Zayas gets the transformation. The turret's getting aggressive. Zayas still trying to get out of here, but it does not work, and Doran picks up the kill.
Just making this road to MSI all about him.
Well, T1 are going to continue making it about them as they look for this engage onto Peanut. He tries to get himself out of there, but Delight is in such an awkward position. Zayas is coming on over. The door has been set up as Viper in a decent spot. The culling this time is going to actually hit some T1 players, but the block from Faker is so good, and Zayas will just get wiped out. Oh man, is this T1? Is this the Harlem Globetrotters? They are just dominating.
And that's the only appropriate response.
Yeah, Carrier just having a little bit of a giggle at this one. I think he kind of knows. Yep. And the defending world champion that's on the other side isn't quite getting it done as Carrier goes in. Ona there as well, finds the kick to get the double knock up. As they're now just looking to take down Peanut. They'll take that one very comfortably. Delight next on the menu, delicious. Here's the knock up comes through. My God, the damage as Zeka will be eviscerated. Nice. And Viper standing alongside Zayas underneath this turret, and Doran says, "You are coming with me." The Krug Lord sends his regards as Viper will look for a Mega Cone for a disengage.
Oh, turrets.
You are right.
For Hanwha. They could perfect game Hanwha to knock them out of MSI.
Oh, that is absurd. Okay, Zayas is just going to get taken down under this turret unceremoniously. And like you were talking about, the perfect game still on the line. 12-0. Oh man, now we're just talking about HLE. Can they get a kill ever in this game? That's going to be the question, is maybe off the back of this one, but never mind. Ona, he's got the smooth moves to taxi alongside the Gromp. The Blade Caller there as well to hold them in place.
Well, they got to defend this Dragon if they want to keep that alive as well.
Oh,
Guma.
yeah. Zeka going in. Guma is going forward into 3 people. The feathers are just doing so much damage. As all right, Carrier going to join him. There is the knock-up attempt onto Zeka, who doesn't get the taunt. Onto Gumushi, he's got the shield, the flash, but the Feather Storm is there in answer, and Zayas cannot do anything as he gets that backline. It's the Pyroblast from Faker that locks him down, and they might be able to get one. Carrier is going to fall. There goes the perfect game, but it doesn't mean anything because they are stamping their ticket to MSI in this play right here.
You say composed on the stage here as Hanwha, considering all the circumstances around this almost qualification for them. It's bye-bye.
Is just going to run towards Faker. The all-out from Doran just says, nope, no Mega Cone for you, sir. As in goes Carrier, finds them all in that back line as the Galio comes down, but he just gets booted out of the rift entirely. Zayas now just trying his very best to hop his way out. Don't mind me, everyone.
The minion
as
died!
the Sonic Wave goes wide. but I still think he's just being escorted to the death chamber, ladies and gentlemen. Doran tanking up this turret momentarily. The grand entrance holds him in place, and now the base is going to get broken. Gumayusi going to test his mettle against the Otacon. And yeah, T1 are able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, until they decide that it's time to pick up that ticket.
He doesn't win this.
I don't think he does.
I mean, I'm pretty invested in this one right now. As he might be out, I don't know what he can cleanse. Yeah, he's look at the plays, look at the moves. Gumayusi! What was that? That was soloing an Otacon, everyone. That's what that was.
It was the first moment of uncertainty.
Yeah, as we get the replay, of course. We need some pro view here. As yeah, you saw their own for the moment.
Are they?
They are absolutely reeling. In goes Zeka looking to try and get one against Faker here. As Carrier says absolutely not. He finds a whole lot of charms here in this mid lane. The heroic entrance is going to get a knock up onto the Rakan. Yeah, they'll be able to kill him again, but do they have any chance in the rest of this fight? And the answer is maybe they can get Faker, but otherwise it is all T1 as Gumayusi will be able to take down his former teammate. Peanut trying to get himself out of here as Ona gonna join him as they blast going their way out. Another Sonic Wave is gonna go wide as the Blade Caller coming on through. Peanut trying to do what he can, but Ona just needs one more auto, one more something as the cat will survive.
He gets out, but I don't know if he feels happy right now about it, Atlas. And
yeah, we can cue the yakety sax, I think, a little bit here.
I'm pretty confident he doesn't. I'm willing to take that bet. Zeka, they know, right? Like, they probably knew after the topside play. The emotes are flying, but Hanwha Life...
Yeah, the sad B.
Oh, no, not the sad B.
As the teleport is going to look to put the end to this funny business. As Delight came in, so that's going to try and help out here, as he does have a taunt. He manages to buff the Justice Punch quite nicely here, but he's still on a sliver of health. Zeus decent Nabba position right now, but there is the insect from Ona. He's going to be able to take down Vipers. Now Peanut once again finding himself in a precarious spot, but not as precarious as what Zeus is dealing with right here. It's a cute little Gnar, and he might be able to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but T1 are still just messing with them. As finally the Sonic Wave is going to connect, and Ona collects another kill. Delight puts up the door. He's got a flash, but he doesn't have a chance to use it. And now T1, with so many members of HLE out of this game right now, they're going to look to take down an inhibitor and get this first Nexus turret taken down as well.
26-3, 8 turrets to 0, no objectives for Hanwha in this final game.
And I had a line prepared about denying golden roads and things like that. I just don't think it's relevant. T1 were just so damn good today. It didn't even look like Hanwha Life Esports turned up. They'll take down the Nexus, and T1 will stamp a deserved spot at MSI.
But they did not give up. Their resolve was insanely strong in this road to MSI. And they will once again be our representatives. Faker grabs the ticket amongst roaring fans. And they're our second seed here for the LCK.
And it feels like ever since Genji got that reverse sweep, Hanwha Life just wasn't able to come back. And what is most poignant to me is Owner having a stellar performance. That isn't a surprise.
No.
Carrier and Guma gapping, the way they did was insane. But come on, man, Doran.
I mean, we've seen it before. This is not a surprise.
But it's been a year.
This is domestic roadshow Doran. I mean, Gumayusi doing massive amounts of damage. And these damage graphs really are looking like the shadows of the former HLE. Just kind of crumbled down against the T1 that headed towards the Rift here today.
It really, and I think that is for Hanwha Life perhaps the thing that stings most. We've been crediting
there
the team as, come on guys, we knew it was gonna be him. Look at that face.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Seer for the post-match interview translation. Joined by T1, who just secured the second seed with a 3-0 victory on the final round of Road to MSI. Please welcome Doran, Owner, Faker, Gumayusi, Carrier, and Coach Goma. Doran, that was a 3-0 clean victory. How do you feel? You know, in the final round today, yeah, I was actually quite nervous. And I was actually trembling in game 1, but after that game 1 warm-up and getting that POM, I'm just feeling so great. After that round 4 unanimous POM, you got a POM yet again in peak form. So which play do you think got you the POM today? I think the impact from Mbessa in game 2 was so strong that I think that's what I got the POM from. But I really did have all my teammates set me up for that victory. So honestly, you seemed to grow even stronger in Busan. So how did you overcome the pressure to maintain the winner's mentality? You know, my mindset was that to not get stressed over trivial things. I really just wanted to enjoy the game. Did you have fun playing? Honestly, yeah. It was quite entertaining. Now you will head over to Canada, and your journey towards the MSI title will begin. So what mindset will you have? Personally, I've always wanted to attend the MSI. I've been meaning to go all this time, and it just feels so rewarding to be able to get my dream come true. And I hope to show you an even stronger performance in MSI. Let's move on to Owner. How does it feel to head over to Vancouver, Canada? You know, I said that I wanted to get a 3-0 victory today in yesterday's interview, and I'm just really glad that I was able to keep my words, and I hope to have a great showing in Canada. In game 1, it was such a bold decision to leave Bai open, so what was your strategy? I think there were lots of champions that we considered as an OP pick, so we knew that it would be adequate to actually leave Bai open out of all those picks. And in game 3, the last match point, T1's last pick was your Lee Sin. So what made you pick Lee against the enemy comp? Personally, I wasn't really planning on playing Lee Sin, but because as a team it looked like Lee Sin would be a really good fit. I think it was just out of everyone's input. So I think that was really what allowed us to win game 3. So it makes me pretty happy about that. And this will be your 4th MSI. So what mindset do you have? Now, every time we go to MSI, we have always had a bit of a disappointing result. So I hope that we're able to carry this momentum and hopefully lift the trophy with Doran. Next up, let's talk to Faker. T1's record, as well as Faker's amazing career. You just qualified for your 8th MSI. How do you feel? This is only the start. After the victory, I think we just have to really think about how we can prepare for MSI. And we don't really have a lot of titles and championships at MSI, so my mindset is to prepare well, and we have the eyes set on the trophy. Many expected an intense series between Hanwha and T1, but it ended in a complete stomp by T1, so did you expect the 3-0? Honestly, no, I didn't expect the 3-0, but I did expect to win today. And during the regular season, our defeats against Hanwha Life Esports, there were always a little bit of that one step. We always were one step behind, a little bit of lacking. And any word about Hanwha Life Esports picking red side? Red side is always an option when you want to counterpick. So we were actually quite aware that they might actually make that move. And what kind of memories do you want to make in Canada? I've been to Canada many times. I really want to make great memories in Canada. And any word for the fans who rooted for you with all their heart. Thank you so much. We heard your cheering, all your support. We're just so grateful for your support. And Munayoshi, you have ended the chain of 7 losses against Hanwha. What do you think was key to today's victory? You know, our POM, Doran, he did so well in Game 2, and I think we had an overall really good atmosphere and team spirit throughout our practice process, so it's all thanks to our team. And you left such a strong impression with so much confidence yesterday. And you've shown such consistency when the stakes are high, so how are you able to grow stronger on the big stage? You know, because we were able to win to get to this point, and you know, Hanwha Life Esports, they're coming in with a recent loss, so I think carrying that momentum was pretty big. And on match point, you won a 1v1 against Arakan, so was this just a simply perfect calculated play? You know, yeah, honestly, I thought this was the right play. I thought this was the right move to solo Arakan, but he was actually stronger than I expected. So what are you most excited about for MSI, which will be in Vancouver? You know, this will be our first time going to Vancouver with Doran, so I really hope that we're able to become the champions there. And please send a message to all the bot laners you'll meet at MSI. You know, since a while back, I believe that the best bot duo in the world is Gumayushi Keria, and I want to prove it to everyone. Next up, we have Keria. How does it feel to represent MSI or LCK at MSI 4 years in a row? You know, while playing with T1, I haven't been able to win or lift the trophy at MSI, but I want to make it happen this time around. Your performance today was just so on point, from great peel with Nico and team fights to nailing your poppy ults. Was there any moment you felt particularly proud of? I think a lot of the highlights I was really proud of, but in the end, Jordan was the one who stole my POM, so I was quite surprised. Every time we saw your cam, you were just giggling all the time, so what made you so happy? You know, having a great game of League, and because of all the fans, so many fans here just cheering for us, just enabled me to have a great game today. Perhaps it's because your hometown is Busan. You must have been having a great time today. Would you like to use your Busan dialect to say anything to your fans? Thank you for coming. I'm sure your fans are very delighted to hear that. And please share your goals for MSI. Like I said earlier, personally and as a team, we haven't been able to lift a lot of MSI trophies. And since we were able to go to MSI consecutively, I really want to eliminate BLG this time. And let's have a word with Coach Goma. T1 has just qualified for their 8th MSI. It must be quite special for you too, Coach. How do you feel? You know, with this victory, we're able to qualify for MSI. And yeah, I've been hearing that we haven't had a championship at MSI in a while, so we hope to achieve that this time. And in the end, it looks like you are able to secure another MSI. So, any word about that? No, I think I was really focusing on trying to make sure that Doran's not too nervous, but today he was actually just on point. He was so solid, so I was quite impressed. Would you like to say anything to the players? You know, I really wanted them to relax and have a laid-back game. And the coaching staff and the players put in so much effort into really making that happen, and I'm just really happy and I'm so proud of my players for for being able to pull this off. And any word to your fans, whether we'd be happy or sad, I know that our fans are always cheering for us unconditionally, and I hope that we can repay your support with a good result. Thank you so much. Please give it up for T1. We will look forward to your success in MSI. And that concludes the interview with the T1 crew. Tossing it back to the analyst desk. Thank you.